I care. I care. I care. I care. I care. I
Good day, good day, good day.
I care. I care.
Good day to everybody.
I care.
Let me know if you can see and hear me well. Let me know if you can see and hear me well.
I care.
Greetings, 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 greetings. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is you're watching me.
I care. I care.
Greetings, greetings. So can you see me and hear me well? Is that a yes? Looks like one yes.
I care.
That's one yes thus far. Thank you for signing on today. Almighty, we thank you for this opportunity. We flow with you. We flow as a part of you. Thank you.
I care.
The greatest in terms of your intentions are manifested among us today. Thank you for love. Thank you for light. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for transformation. Thank you for empowerment. We bless you and thank you. Thank you right now, Yeshua. It is so and so it is. Yes, tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share, share and tag. Tag and share, share and tag.
I care.
Tag and share, share and tag. I have to remind you that I am so glad to be with you here on another day, that we're blessed and empowered to experience together.
I care.
And although geographically we may be in different locations, spiritually, consciously, we are connected as one. So I am so glad to be connected to you and to have you connected to me. This is a powerful moment and a powerful time for you. If you open yourself up to the divine, if you open yourself up to greater possibilities, then you will know, and then you will recognize that which is God is already with you and a part of you and desires great, great, great things for you. Since you are made in the image and the likeness of God, and I had to remind you that whatever you think, imagine, and speak like your creator, like your designer, manifests into reality. You are not merely a spiritual being, but you are a God species of a God class, the offspring of the divine. So I must continue to exhort you in this aspect to know that you are powerful. So I want you to type it in the comment section. I am powerful. Come on, type it in the comment section. Own it, feel it, embrace it. I am powerful. I am powerful. Come on, that's it. Type it. I am. Feel it when you type it. Know it when you type it. Visualize it when you type it. I am powerful.
I care.
Indeed, you are a powerful spirit being. Thank you for owning it, and one day I'll do some teaching on the I am. Why do I capitalize I am? I'll explain that to you one day. Just know that the I am that I am is infused and is already a part of who you are. I'm so grateful to God that He rules the cosmos in His infinite existence, its infinite existence, the infinite existence of God as He is transcendent of all space and time. We're going to Mark chapter 12, which is where we've been. Mark chapter 12. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yes, I always capitalize I am purposely. Some of you all are not ready for what I really need to say, so I have to delay in the explanation of the why, but it's coming. It's coming. Mark chapter 12. Mark chapter 12. Been in a series, and I was out last week. I actually was under the weather, as they say, wasn't feeling well. And so I want to continue today and this week in terms of where I left off on the series discussing self-love with you. Mark 12, 29. Let's see, actually, let's begin we'll begin at verse 29, and I think we end at verse 31. And Jesus answered, "The first of all the commandments is, Hear, O Lord, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord." Verse 30. "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might and with all thy strength." This is the first commandment. And the second is like namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So we continue our discussion on self-love, open our hearts, our spirits, intensify our connection, grow our awareness, Almighty, and we bless you and we praise you. Thank you, Yeshua. It is so, and so it is. I continue to discuss subjects like this, and I'm preparing to a series of presentations after I get done with this on soul prosperity. My messages are centered around things like this and other things that I will reveal as time goes on when I think you're really ready for the message. The relevance of these presentations are basically rooted in the most powerful force there is, and that is love. Love is the reason you and I exist. Love is the reason why there is a created order. It's not about evil. It's not about injustice. It's not about wrong. It's not about sin. Everything stems from, grows from, in terms of the creative aspect, its ontology, its being out of love. Love isn't a feeling. Love isn't pulse racing. Love isn't an emotion. Love isn't merely a thought. Love just is. The purest form of it is unselfish, self-sacrificing, not boastful, vainglorious, does not rejoice in seeing others suffer or fail. It merely desires the well-being of all. And yes, we can, from a heartbeat, know, or from a feeling or a burning desire or an insatiable hunger, yes, these can be symptoms of love, but they are not really a part of the definition of what love really is. They're merely symptoms attached to our perspective and our interpretation of love. Love also is relevant because the human, what we call the human species, which is really a spiritual species, we use terms like human and humanity to describe the physicality, the physical representation of what we really are, the physical projection of what we really are. But everything should be birthed from love. If God is love, as we have already visited John 4:16, and if he's a part of us and we are part of him, then that means the origins of all things stems forth from love. Not just the God of love, but the spirit of love, the being of love, love as being, love as is, love as I am. One thing I have noticed in my several decades of serving people and deeply entrenched in religious circles is that people are afraid to talk about love, specifically as it relates to loving themselves. The whole angle being turned or moved to specifically maybe a 90-degree perspective on my presentation of love, not focusing and emphasizing the neighborly part of the text, but with intentionality, highlighting the you part of the text, is because the you part of the text has been taught as if it was non-existent. The you part of this text has been glossed over. The you part of this text has not been emphasized properly down throughout the ages. If I can just be abundantly honest with you, religion has done a good job of teaching you how sinful, pathetic, imperfect, and wretched and unlovable you are. You say, well, how can you say that? Because there's so many texts in scripture. I can say that because for every time it is mentioned in a sermon that God loves you and that you are special, there are probably 15 to 20 more times in their presentation where the emphasis is going to be on how you don't come up or measure up or meet the benchmark of how you are so lacking, how you are evil, how your imperfections require you to constantly need forgiveness. Your imperfections, these are things that are mentioned in presentations in juxtaposition to God is love, in juxtaposition to trying to declare how special you are. In the same breath, they declare how loathing you are, how damnable you are, how hideous you are. To me, this brings about a schizophrenic type existence. To me, this brings about even a bipolar type of understanding that people have of themselves because they want to believe that God loves them and they want to believe that they are worthy of love and they want to believe that they have permission to love themselves. But when every action you take is nitpicked and when every action you take is micromanaged, and when every action you take is swiftly met with an interpretation of God in scriptural texts that tells you that you can never do anything to be good enough, and even the love that you have for yourself, you are to be careful because it can take you over into territories you don't want to go into. When it is presented like this, there is a great reluctance to love yourself, and there is great cloud of confusion or clouds of confusion around the permission to love yourself. And I want you to understand that love is so foundational and love is so key until you cannot embrace God properly without strong, healthy self-love. You cannot function properly in relationships without strong, healthy self-love. You will not enjoy the fruits of success, nor manifest true success without strong, healthy self-love. You will not enjoy prosperity and experience the fruits of prosperity without strong, healthy self-love. For it is a fact that you can have a lot of money. In that regard, you are prospering. But if you are lacking in the area of healthy self-love, you won't enjoy the money. You can have all of the connections required to have a successful career and be actually moving and shaking. But if there isn't healthy self-love, then you're not going to enjoy that journey. You're not going to enjoy the fruits of those labors. You're not going to enjoy the fruits of those connections. It's going to be very fleeting with you. Why? Because there is a gaping hole in your heart. Why? Because there is a part of you that despises you. Why? Because there's a part of you that is constantly depreciating or deprecating yourself, minimizing yourself to a position of insignificance and inferiority, which then in turn causes you to deflect all success, deflect true love, deflect opportunities to grow and enhance and evolve. So this subject is of the utmost importance to me because it is a travesty for you to love somebody else more than you love yourself. And it is a mistake for you to think that you can sacrifice more than others and consider yourself to be healthy psychologically and even spiritually. It is just not the case. So I will continue discussing these kinds of subjects. It is why we have such bitterness amongst believers. It is why we have such despair amongst believers. It is why we have such sadness among believers. It is why we have people who are suicidal. It's because you are taught in erroneous, unbalanced, crooked picture frame with a poor picture of what love is and your ability to partake of love itself. And I say this to you in love, as love, a part of love, that it is important that you, with God's assistance, figure out how to love you, figure out how to embrace all of you. So I started out recently in giving you some signs, and I'm like 3 or 4 lessons into this, in giving you signs that you don't have healthy self-love. So now after I finish giving you this information, then I'm going to turn around and give you information on how to love you. But right now I'm still sharing points to show you how you are lacking healthy self-love. So I want to continue laying the foundation for this teaching before I pick up where I left off recently, to further emphasize to you again, the greatest of love, hope, and faith is love. So you can pray as hard as you want to pray, but if you don't love you, you're effective maybe in helping other people. You're just not effective in helping yourself. You can love God in the first commandment with all your being. But if you don't love yourself enough, then even your relationship with God will be jagged and skewed and corrupted to a certain extent, because you don't understand that the one who wants you to love it as a being is the same love that is a part of you that permits you to love you. That's the second point I want to make concerning this. Last but not least, if you don't figure out how to permit yourself to love you, then you will continue to move through this life with living from various degrees of severity in terms of inferiority, to the point that you will be living a potentially good life, but not enjoying the life, constantly checking every day to see if you're even worthy of new wonderful things that happen to you. And I'll say this from experience, living on this planet for a little while now and having counseled scores and scores of people. When you lack self-love, you sabotage things in your life. When you lack healthy self-love, you not only sabotage self, you sabotage good things connected to self. You sabotage good things connected to self. You can sabotage education. You can sabotage a job. You can sabotage relationships. Are you following me? When you lack healthy self-love, listen to this. You are constantly sacrificing yourself on the altar for people who would never sacrifice themselves for you. Let's see here. I'm thinking about an anecdote, a story that was told. I want to make sure that I recollect it correctly. And it was about, I believe it was about the cow, the chicken, and the pig. And they went to a particular meeting place, and everybody at the meeting place was asked to give something, to sacrifice something, like giving in an offering. And so naturally the milk gave its cow. The female milk gave the cow. The chicken was able to lay an egg. But the pig said, this is not fair, because you get to give milk, you get to give an egg, but I got to give my life to give something that's really worthy. I want you to understand that if you find yourself in the situation where you represent the pig or the hog, in that every time it's time to give, you're the only one that's required to give everything, then there's something wrong with your giving system. There's something wrong, that's not just necessarily your company, because your lack of self-love, yes, will put you in the company of people who are constantly requiring you to give everything where they can give little and continue to go on. But you've got to question yourself. If I'm dying in every situation, if I'm the one that's constantly depleting myself 100% and is in need of a resurrection, is it about the person, or is it about me constantly positioning myself in circumstances and situations where I have nothing left? Where I've depleted my spiritual storehouse, I've depleted my mental storehouse, I've depleted my physical storehouse, I've depleted my financial storehouse, I've depleted everything. And so when it's all said and done, you're laying there in a bloody pool of self-sacrifice, and other people, the chicken is walking back to the hen house, the cow is going back to the pasture, and they continue to live. But you are the one who finds yourself needing a resurrection. This happens over and over and over and over again. Could it be you're giving too much? Could it be that your deficiency in love, self-love, has not created enough of a paradigm, a way of thinking in you that puts boundaries up? I want you to type the word boundaries. I want you to type the word boundaries. None of this is in my notes. I went over scriptures, so forth and so on. I don't plan on covering those things again. I'm going to go back to 1 Corinthians 13:4 for a few minutes, and then I'm going to get back into those, I believe, 13 things or 13 signs that you don't have healthy self-love. But I want you to type the word boundaries. Why do I want you to type the word boundaries? It's because people who don't have healthy self-love constantly let people cross boundaries they should never cross. I'm going to repeat that maybe in a different way. When you don't have healthy self-love, you will constantly let people cross boundaries they shouldn't. Did you hear what I said? A fence in a yard indicates to your neighbors, this is my property. Okay? It is a boundary. A door with a lock on your home, your house, your apartment, wherever you live, says to the outsider that this part of my home is only accessible to people, number one, who have a key, or number two, that I allow in the door. It is a form of a boundary. I have discovered that when people don't love themselves adequately, they are constantly letting people, not only in the yard, but they're letting people in the home of their heart. They're not just letting people in the home of their heart, they're letting people into secret places where the secret stash is, where the secret sauce of their life is in their heart, constantly pushing past boundaries, letting them, bypass boundaries to get to the secret, tender places that they should never have ever had access to. Okay, I hope I'm making sense to somebody. I don't see no likes and hearts right now. And what happens is, here's another illustration. You got a vault in your home. You got a vault in your home. Just say a mini safe in your home. And in this safe are all kinds of trinkets, your best gold watch, your best gold jewelry, maybe some cash that you've stashed, some investment papers, so forth and so on. And you share the combination with somebody that you trusted. And time went on and things were good until you came home one day and recognized that something was missing from your safe. Something was missing from your safe. You notice that the person you gave the combination to had a new wardrobe, had added a few extra things to their accessories, listen to this, and had helped other folk enhance their wardrobe or enhance their life. And so you then begin to realize there's only one person you gave the combination to. And the one person you gave the combination to used the combination to access that part of that safe in your home and took those precious possessions that you had accumulated and stored up. Now you are upset. You're upset with really two people. You're upset with the person you gave the combination to, but you're also upset with yourself because you said, how could I have trusted the combination to this person? Why did I trust? I should have been able to trust them. But then again, I had signs that I couldn't trust them. What you should have done as soon as you start developing signs that you couldn't trust them was change the combination. But because you love them more than you love yourself, because you trusted them more than you trusted yourself, you didn't change the combination. They changed their loyalty and allegiance to you, accessed that safe, took everything that was precious to you, not only benefited themselves, but helped other folks benefit from stuff that was really yours. And now you're mad as hell. I want to say this to you. This is what we do too many times in our lives. And we allow people to access the precious, tender, deep, secret stuff about us, and we can't even trust them. We can't even trust them. I want to say this again from the deepest spaces and places of love. I am very careful when people trust me with delicate stuff. I'm very careful, number one, not to breach their trust, not to break their trust. Number two, not to manipulate what has been given to me, what has been shared with me. Are you following me? Because I realize how delicate, relevant, and important it is to you. I have had many opportunities to do many things, but I refuse to do it because if you allow me access to that part of your heart, then now I have a responsibility to make sure that I never take anything without permission from that part of you that you entrusted me with. Because if I do, then you're going to be bankrupt in that area psychologically. You're going to be bankrupt in that area in terms of emotion. You're going to be bankrupt in that area in terms of spirituality. But too often we're giving combination and keys. Listen to this. We're giving permanent combinations and keys to people who are only temporary. Did I just say something or did I just say something? As soon as you realize, follow me, family, especially you people who are in intimate, you're not neck deep, you're not nose deep, you're not eye deep, you're completely immersed in something. And you start discovering symptoms that you need to change the password. You need to change the combination. You need to get a new key made. You need to change the lock. You need another safe, baby. You as soon. See, this is, when self-love is where it ought to be, it's not going to feel good to do it, but you know it's necessary. And that part of you, you've got to allow it to emerge even when it's painful, because now this is about you protecting you. This is about you trying to salvage what's left. This is about you recognizing that I can't trust that key to my heart, that combination to the safe of my heart. I can't trust the most precious parts of my being to just anybody. Oh my Lord. I don't even know if I'm going to make it into my notes, my notes today. Am I going to, should I just keep flowing like this? Maybe I should just keep flowing like this. Maybe somebody needs to hear this today. What are you left with? You're typically left with little or nothing. Little or nothing. When you look at the text, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's switch it up a little bit. What happens when you love a lover more than you love yourself? What happens when you love a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife more than you love yourself? What happens when you love children more than you love yourself? See, I don't want to get into quantifying. I don't want to get into measurements. I want you to understand that love is not necessarily about measurements, but it's about intensity. I want you to type the word intensity. Intensity. I want you to type the word intensity. The love for a child, when it's proper, is different than the love that's romantic for a spouse. The love for a spouse is different in intensity than the type of love you have for a good parent or a good sibling. The intensity is different. Okay. And many times the way it's expressed is different. What I want you to understand is that when you turn up the intensity of love higher in somebody else than you turn up in your own self, what is that really saying? What is that really saying? Now, for example, parents should sacrifice for their children. I do it all the time. If there isn't enough food available, follow me, family. Follow me. family, y'all my family, then yes, I'm going to make sure, I would make sure my children ate. If the money wasn't flowing the way it should have been, I'm going to make sure they are clothed, or if I was married, I had a spouse or a lover, that they had that. I get that. But you also have to ask yourself the question, as the one who's serving the meal, if I'm not feeding myself and I fade away, who takes care of them? If I'm not taking care of me, who's around to take care of them? So that means that when you're dividing up that cake, or when you're dividing up that breakfast, or when you're dividing up that food, you can't serve and not eat yourself. If you serve it all and have nothing left for you, then your energy becomes depleted, your strength becomes depleted, your vitality begins to wane and diminish. And now you're not strong enough in times of suffering, or strong enough in urgent times when they really need you to be there for them, because you haven't fed you. Come on now. When you're buying clothes, you got to make sure your children and the one that you love and connected to has what but what if you don't have enough to wear? What if your lack of dress or lack of adequate clothing keeps you from getting a job? What if it gets you fired from your job because you're spending all your income clothing somebody else, but not adequately clothing yourself to sustain you, to help sustain others? Am I making any sense? So the self-sacrificing thing is real, but you've got to know your limitations with that. And when people don't have the proper boundaries set up, they camouflage it with, oh, I just love them so much. They cover it up with, well, this is just what love is, and this is just what love does. They justify it by saying, oh, this is hey, this is what I'm about. I always do for others more than I do for me. Well, why? Is there a part of you that feels like you're not good enough, worthy enough, or deserve to have like other people have? Why is it that you're always the one who wants to cut your nose off and let everybody else keep theirs? My goodness, my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Am I making any sense to anybody here today? Self-love is relevant because it is not, and I'm going to say this, it is not the will of an almighty God for you to treat him right and not treat yourself right. It is not the will of an almighty God for you to just treat other people right and not treat yourself right. Are you following me? It is not the will of the almighty God that you love somebody so much, listen to this, that you would give your house note and car note to them and end up almost homeless or homeless yourself. Why? Not in the name of helping, but in the name of an anemia, a deficiency, a lack in you that says other people deserve to have more of these things than me anyway. So let me compensate for my lack of self-love or my lack of appreciation for myself by doing stuff for somebody else. My. Oh, this is not in my notes. This is not in front of me. Self-love. The whole world, to me, is turned on its side because the purity of love isn't really known, and the purity of love isn't really taught and appreciated. Do you know it is possible for you to give to charity, give in church, and still feel empty after you gave. Why is that? It's nothing necessarily wrong with where you gave, but there's something wrong with the banks in your heart, the bank of your heart. There's something wrong inside of you. You are feeling empty inside after you just did a good thing, because obviously there's something about you and something about your life that you don't love. I'm going to take you back to Carl Jung's quote, and then I'm going to take you back to scripture. And I might get to some of those signs again that you lack self-love, and then I'm going to conclude for today. This quote, the acceptance of oneself. Listen to this. I repeat this. The acceptance of oneself is the essence of the whole moral problem and the epitome of a whole outlook on life. End quote, Carl Jung. The way you see yourself, accept or non-accept yourself, listen to this, creates a moral issue, creates a moral problem, creates an issue of right and wrong for you. If bitterness makes you lack trust, listen, when your love is compromised, when your love is abused and it turns into bitterness, that creates an internal conflict. Listen to this. It can either make you somebody's punching bag or make you the one punching the bag. Do you see how accepting oneself, good or bad, can create moral dilemmas and eventually impact your outlook on life? So just like here, I'm teaching you today, if this teaching resonates with you, you should not be deflecting it back to me or deflecting it to other people. You should accept it. I read another quote from Carl Jung. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. See, contrary to what some folk might believe about me, I know my faults. I know my challenges. That's why I don't put myself in certain situations. Are you following me? That's why I have created my own personal mental mastery, spiritual and mental mastery, because I know what lives in me. I know what's a part of me, and I'm willing to face that. If you know that you're struggling in the area of self-love, regardless of who put you on this, who kicked you on this path, or who encouraged you to take the path right now that I'm discussing, where you're struggling with self-love, don't disown it. Own it. Own it. This is a challenge for me. Own that it's been a challenge for however long it's been, because that is the only way you can change it. And as I said in my recent video in quoting Carl Jung, the great Neville Goddard also says this: what you resist persists. Some of our problem is that we keep resisting these negative feelings that have controlled us all our lives. We keep resisting these thoughts that have guided us all our lives. We think that we can just ignore it. You can't just ignore it. You've got to confront it. And if you don't love you, I'm encouraging you today to accept that you don't love you so you can change it. Accept it so you can change it. I see people go up and down all the time like this. It used to be the old saying, I guess from the old anecdote or cliche, he loves me not. But I paraphrase it for this presentation. I love me not. I love me, 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 I love me not. How can you be open to God? Listen to this. How can you be open to the divine? How can you be open to everything this universe has for you if you don't love you? I've taught you that you're a transmitter and a receiver. You're transmitting from your thoughts into the world as much as you're receiving. Many of you all, like me, have received the same recycled life because we kept thinking the same thoughts that created the same conditions or scenarios that brought it back to us. And I'm trying to encourage you in this moment and in this hour. Don't resist it anymore. Own it, and then confront it, and then put in the work to change it. My, I wish I saw a lot more likes and hearts. Own it, confront it, so you can change it. The late, great Alex Haley says, either you deal with reality or reality is going to deal with you. You are living your own reality now. And it's based on your thoughts. It's based on your images, your imagination. It's based on your emotions. But you and I have the power to change it. We have the power to change it. I'm going to say it again. We have the power to change it. People are living depleted lives. It's not sometimes because they did not have enough. It's sometimes because they gave too much to somebody else. Oh, come on now. Come on now. I am probably the biggest giver on this broadcast. And I'm not going to tell you how much I've given down through the years, but it's 6 figures. It is 6 figures easily throughout the course of my life that I've sown into other people. But there were times that I gave. Listen to me. There were times I sold and I went back to my house and I didn't have. And then I had to pray to have my needs met. And then I had to grow to learn that I wasn't always supposed to do that. Then I had to grow to learn how to create abundance so that I can give freely and not have a deficiency. Then I had to grow and learn and recognize that this pattern existed in other areas of my life. It existed in relationships. It existed in leadership. It existed in the people I loved and people I served and the people I did things for, so forth and so on. I need you to hear me real clearly. And sometimes we do this to make up for the parts of us that we feel are not lovable enough or good enough or acceptable enough or worthy enough. I feel something. There's nothing wrong with sacrificial giving when God prompts you to give it or when you're trusting the law of sowing and reaping. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying that sometimes folk are giving. They're giving out of their deficiency because they feel deficient. They believe they're deficient and they don't love themselves enough to value themselves to say, I don't have to do this just to feel lovable, just to feel good, just to feel accepted. I'm almost out of time. I said I was going to 1 Corinthians, didn't I? I won't be there long. I'm going to just run through the text and I will remind you of how you're in this text. Charity, which is the word agape, which is the word love, suffers long and is kind. Charity, envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself. It's not boastful. It's not vainglorious. It's not puffed up. It does not behave itself unseemly. It seeketh not her own. It's not easily provoked. It doesn't think evil. It rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. It beareth all things. It believeth all things. It hopeth all things. It endureth all things. So I remind you that in this text, this is not just referring as you traditionally hear it interpreted. as your love for other people, but this is your love for you. So your self-love, I'm going to paraphrase it, self-love suffers long and is kind. Be kind to yourself. It doesn't envy. Don't envy yourself. It vaunteth not itself. Don't get puffed up or become vainglorious in a way to say, I've accomplished something so that I can show that I'm worthy of love. It's not puffed up. Don't be proud. Does not behave itself unseemly, meaning to be indecent and unmanly. Don't be indecent with yourself. Don't be unmanly with yourself. Seek it not her own. You don't have to be selfish just to prove you're lovable or worthy of being loved. It's not easily provoked, meaning it's not touchy. It doesn't think evil. Why are we thinking so much evil about ourselves? It doesn't rejoice in iniquity, or meaning it doesn't rejoice in wrong or injustice. Do you realize that some people feel like they deserve to live a pitiful, miserable life of suffering? Why are you rejoicing in your own suffering? But it rejoices in truth. Love rejoices in this message today. It beareth all things, means it bears up under anything. It holds up under anything. It believeth all things. That means it's ready to receive the best. You should be ready to receive the best. It hopeth all things. That means it's always expecting good. It endures all things. That means it's faithless and never weakens. Your love for you, just as your love for God never fades, your love for you should never fade. Just as your love for some other people should never fade, your love for you should never fade. So here we go. And I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop at number 7 today. I'm just going to run back through them. I'm run back through them real quickly. Okay. These 13 signs that you're urgently in need of self-love by Milena Nguyen. Here we go. Number 1, you're not taking care of your body and mind. Take care of your body and mind. I take care of mine. I learned through some challenging health situations, I'm in control. I'm the master of this temple. Yes, I eat this, that, and the other, but certain foods I don't eat consistently anymore. As we speak now, I'm not trying to be no vegetarian. I just haven't eaten meat in several months, and that's for a reason. Okay? Take care of your body. Put good stuff in your body. Put good stuff in your mind. Stop watching all this trashly dramatic stuff that's making you feel with fear and rage and all this other kinds of stuff. Put the right things in your mind and in your body. Number 2, you always try to improve yourself to compensate for the feeling of not being enough. That's why some people are always in school. They're not in school just to get a better job. They're telling themselves they're in school. You don't need 6 or 7 degrees. Don't get me wrong. I love learning. I got 5. I want a couple more, but not just because I have them. I just know it's a way of being acknowledged for your learning. But I mean, some folks are constantly you got out. Nothing wrong with eyelashes, but you're adding stuff to your appearance because you're just trying to compensate for feeling like you're not good enough. You're constantly having work done on your body, constantly having work done on your house. You're constantly having, it's something to compensate. Number 3, you always worry about what other people think. Lord have mercy, self-explanatory. Some of you all have been bullied so long within your family framework until you can't hardly make a decision without thinking about what Uncle so-and-so going to say, without thinking about what Mama so-and-so going to say. Number 4, I'm not getting into that. You say yes when what you want to say is no. My goodness. And typically this is done because you don't want to be seen or viewed as the bad one, the bad person. So you're constantly bending over backwards. Listen to this. Bending over backwards when other folk won't even bend over and touch their toes. Boundaries are necessary. Number 5, you don't feel confident. Well, a lot of people don't feel confident. But this is referring to people who on a consistent basis don't feel confident. Listen to this. You didn't feel confident when you were applying for the job, but you got the job. You got the job and you still didn't feel confident. Your boss just told you 6 months into the job, you're doing a great job. Still don't feel confident. You're 2 years into the job and you got a promotion and you've got like 4 raises, but you just don't feel confident. It's you. It's not the job. It's you. That means there's something in you. There's something in you that's struggling to embrace that you are good enough, that you are great even. Number 6, wish I could get into it. You're afraid of being found out to be a fraud. That's right. There are people right now who are probably watching me who are saying, if these people only know what I did before I got on here last night. Listen, you're not a fraud. You're flawed, but you're not a fraud. And I know people put on, and I know people wear masks. Yes, that part of us is fraudulent, but that don't make you a fraud. It means you're in hiding. You're in hiding. When people don't love themselves, they constantly feel like they are a fraud for many reasons. There are people who project confidence who are very insecure. There are people who act like they're the most beautiful, glamorous thing on the planet, but inside they feel like they're the most unwanted, unloved. This is why they got to do all this necessary stuff, because the physical beauty gives them the attraction from other people or the compliments from other people that helps them feel good about themselves. But the fraud part of them, which is true, is I really don't feel like this. I'm doing this because this is all I feel like I got going for me. Let's get to number 7. You feel that you don't deserve what you have. When people struggle with self-love, they feel like they don't deserve what they have. Now, let me say this, and I say this in love. I want people to understand, and I want people to realize, and I want people to embrace that when you have been taught to be thankful, and when you have been taught to be humble, but at the same time, when you have been taught, don't let stuff go to your head, and when you have been taught, you can't take credit for this. See, this is the message I want you to take away from what I'm saying right now. Whatever happens in your life happens as a partnership with God. So when you're taking credit, you're not leaving God out. You're giving God credit because he's as much a part of you in this process as anything else is. And I want you to understand, and I want you to recognize, and I want you to realize that you deserve the good things that happen in your life. And if by chance you worked and you got into that apartment, you worked and you got that job, or you worked and you got through school, or you worked on the relationship and it turned out great, or you worked and bought yourself a pair of clothes, or you worked and got yourself out of a hellish situation and you're trying to recover, but there's something about you that still feels like you don't deserve happiness, you don't deserve joy, you don't deserve peace, you don't deserve the best. Listen, that's an internal you issue. That's an internal you challenge. You deserve the best. Why is it that we're always boasting about what God did and what he gave, but we're constantly listening to sermons and listening to people and interpreting messages if we don't deserve stuff? I'm well beyond that false crap, that false stuff. Either I'm lovable or I'm not. Either I'm worthy or I'm not. You got to know you're worthy. When you are struggling with self-love, you wonder if you're worthy. Listen, if somebody buy you something, yeah, you're worthy of it. This is a harvest returning from other seeds you've sown. And last but not least, you're worthy of it as a spirit being. You're worthy of it as somebody made in the image and likeness of God. You're worthy of it as the object of love. You're worthy of it as love. Yes, you're worthy. I don't care how many things you did in your life. I don't care how many mess ups you made, how many mess ups you had. You're already forgiven, number one. Number two, you're worthy of good things that happen to you. Oh, I've done so much wrong. You just don't know. I know somebody saying, you just don't know how much stuff I've done wrong. I was scandalous. I did this. I smoked that. I sold this. Okay, you did that. You're not that anymore. That don't mean you deserve to suffer the rest of your life. That don't mean you deserve to be punished the rest of your life. I want you to know and understand that you're worthy to have. You're worthy of happiness. You're worthy of success. You're worthy of forgiveness. You're worthy of good things happening in your life. Don't be unkind to yourself. Don't. People do this every day, and then I'm going to be done. They don't think they're worthy of what they have. But there's somebody out there who's committed atrocities 1,000 times worse than them, and they give them all the grace in the world. But you know that you don't give yourself the same grace. And we're wondering why things are not manifesting consistently for us in terms of good things. We're wondering why we're having a problem connecting with the divine parts of ourselves or connecting with God. It's because there's a part of you that's fighting loving yourself enough to believe that you're worthy of great things. If you keep seeing yourself in an assembly line of people and you're number 1,567, then that is the kind of life you will continue to manifest. But if you believe standing in that line that I'm favored, that I'm known, and that I'm worthy of all this favor and love, and that I'm going to be picked out, come on now, that I'm going to be graced to move to the front of the line, that when my name is called for this, for that, and for the other, that I'm most definitely worthy of that, then that is the beginning of you embracing your power. That is the beginning of you embracing that not only does God love me, but I love me. It is the beginning of you taking and owning and embracing that love that is already a part of you and actually using it for you. Oh my God, I sense that so strong. I sense that so strong. And I touch and agree now for those who've been fighting this battle in their heart of loving themselves, but not loving themselves. For those who've been fighting this battle in their hearts, trying to love God, but despise their own selves. For those who've been fighting this battle in their heart, loving other folk, but neglecting themselves. For those who've been struggling in their heart to give to themselves because they'd rather give to others. Almighty God, I thank you for healing, wholeness, a total reversal of thought, a cancellation of cancerous, self-defeating, self-sabotaging, self-loathing, self-hating thoughts. I rebuke negative thoughts and emotions. I send peace, an overflowing river of peace, an overflowing river that brings healing and wholeness. And I thank you and I praise you right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want you to right now to just begin to thank and praise God and be thankful right now in this moment. Come on, just take 60 seconds, that's 1 minute, and express gratitude. You can do it through likes and hearts. You can open your mouth wherever you are. You might lift your hands. I need you to change your focus. I need you to change, as some folk would say, your vibration. I need you to change your emotion. I need you to change your state of consciousness now by embracing love, because you are worthy of love. You're worthy of greatness. You're worthy of the best. You are not the shell. The shell is a representation of you, but you define the exterior. And I thank God for your greatness. I thank God that you're flourishing. I thank God that you are prospering. I thank God in this moment and in this hour that there is nothing lacking in your life, that your support system is present, the support system of love, the support system of growth to grow, the support system of evolution, transformation, and ascension is there. I, right now in this moment and in this hour, rebuke every negative influence. Oh my God. Every negative influence. Roots are coming up. Roots are coming up. Roots are being pulled up. Roots are being pulled up. And we expose every root situation, root person, root cause of your challenge to love you. And it is so, and so it is. Thank you, Yeshua. Come on, talk back to me, family, before I release you today. Talk back to me. Did you receive anything today? Pamela Moore, I think a couple of weeks ago, after I got off, you left some comments. I am going to be doing some teaching probably this week after I get through these points on how to love yourself. But the word I want to leave with you, Pam, is work on loving you. Work on loving you. Work on doing things for Pam that makes her happy. Work on doing things for Pam and with Pam that makes Pam feel special. Work on a new reality. Work on a new timeline. Work on a new Pam, a new Pamela Moore. I got so much I want to share. It's just going to take me years to share it, and it's all right. But I want to leave this tidbit of information. You are different. You are living as a different version of you right now in this moment than you were yesterday. And the only way the you from yesterday exists in the you today is through memories. Memories that you give life to. Because really that event is long gone. In an older version of you that doesn't even exist anymore. You exist as a new you. You exist as a new you, as a new version of you. I want everybody to embrace right now that now is the only moment you really have. You don't have yesterday. You don't even have the next day. You have now. You have right now. So if you start loving you right now, this you today will experience love it deserves moving forward into newer versions of Pam. You don't got to pray about it. You already have permission to love you. You don't have to beg. You don't got to go on no long fast. Just embrace it. Just become it. Just live it. And start asking yourself every day, the God that is already a part of you, infused with you every day, how can I show myself more love today? How can I express more love to myself today? How can I appreciate myself more today? Because I've discovered that we're too busy thinking and believing that the responsibility to appreciate us is on somebody else. No, it's on you first. Yes, other people should acknowledge you at some point in time and appreciate you. I'm not saying that. But when they don't, you should be satisfying and knowing that you do. that you take yourself on trips if other folk won't. That you will take yourself to the movie by yourself if other folks won't go with you. Come on now. That you will buy yourself the car and a home that you love if nobody else. Come on now. That you will take your own self out to dinner. That you will buy clothes that you know you're worthy of. Come on now. You will appreciate yourself by doing for you. That you will say no because it's not beneficial for you. Yeah. Learn how to appreciate you. That you will draw boundaries. When other folk think you're an open field, take solace in knowing that I would appreciate myself enough by creating those boundaries. Am I making any sense here? Stop letting people into your heart who don't belong there. Stop letting people in the inner sanctum of your life who don't belong there. That's a way that you start showing love. How can I? This is your assignment this week, family. Y'all ready for this? If you're ready, type it in the comment section. I'm ready. I'm ready. Type it in the comment section. I'm ready. If you're ready for this, type I'm ready. This is your assignment this week. Okay. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you. This is your assignment this week. I want you to get up every day, once or twice a day for the next 7 days, and I want you to look in that mirror, and I want you to say like you're talking to God, like you're talking to the God in you. And I want you to say, in the form of a question, how can I show more appreciation for myself today? How can I show more appreciation for myself today? I'm going to put it in the comments, and then I'm going to put it on the screen. In the comments, and I'm going to put it on the screen. Now, how long should you do this? How long did I say 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 do this? How many days? Thank you. Somebody's paying attention. I just want to make sure. 7 days. 7 days. Now listen to this. I know this concept works. This works because I have tried these things on me. You probably won't understand. I can't explain to you today why it works. Just trust me. Sincerely, look in that mirror and ask yourself, ask the question that I just put up on the screen. How can I show more appreciation for myself today? And guess what's going to happen? Eventually, you're going to hear a voice from within you speak back to you and guide you, or you're going to receive guidance on how to show yourself appreciation. And it might mean buying yourself an ice cream cone. It may guide you to turn your phone off and spend some time with you. It may guide you to say a few extra prayers. It may guide you to meditate. It may guide you to take a road trip. I'm telling you right now, if you ask yourself this question over the next seven days, at least twice a day, and know you're being heard when you make the request, I'm guaranteeing you're going to get an answer. A good answer. I am empowering you in love. To love you, ooh, my God, and to embrace that it pleases God when you love yourself in a healthy way. I bring your attention to the ticker scrolling at the bottom of the screen, where you can go there and show some love for God and for me. by partnering with me to continue to propagate messages of love and truth. I appreciate you so dearly. Tell me how y'all feeling. I want to get some feedback. Thank you for the likes and hearts. Did this message find you today? What did this word do for you today? It doesn't, you might say it made you depressed. It wouldn't bother me because that's a good thing. That means it's jarring your reality. But talk back to me. Talk back to me. Talk back to me. How did this impact you today? Talk back to me. Quickly in the comments. I want to see your comments. Talk to me. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Somebody said, and encourage them. Wonderful. Yes, 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 yes. Anyone else? Okay, got your thinking cap on. Beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else? Keep the likes and hearts coming. I continue to prophesy the greatest days of your life are here right now. Somebody said it was a reminder that it's okay to treat yourself. Okay, put you first. Okay, all right. Thank you for your transparency. Refreshed. Somebody says refreshed. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. I will be putting some information in the private group this week. I know I haven't done it in a long time, but I will drop some information in there. Somebody else says I am forever charged. Does it mean, is that charged or changed? Either one of them is good, I guess. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Love you all so dearly. I prophesy greatness is manifesting in you right now. Great things. Great opportunities. Great connections. A greater reality is emerging from you. Embrace it. Receive it. Know it. Live it. You are already it. And it is already you. You have desired it as much as it has desired you. It is your moment. It is your time. Heart rate. Somebody has an elevated heart rate. Somebody had elevated heart rate. All right. I want you to close your eyes, Chandra. Close your eyes. And under the sound of my voice, I agree with you. I want you to slowly take 7 deep breaths. Let's do it together. We're inviting and invoking the power that's already present, that is God within you. 1, let's breathe in. Hold it. Exhale. Breathe in again. 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 Exhale. One more time. Breathe in again. Exhale. Now I thank you right now that the heart rate has slowed down and shown. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Last but not least, Chandra. Last but not least, Chandra, I want you to put your hand on your heart. And I want you to say this. First of all, I want you to say, God, I thank you for this wonderful, beautiful heart that always works perfectly. And then the next thing I want you to say to your heart is, You are a wonderful, powerful heart. And I thank you for always beating on time. And I thank you for always beating at the right rate. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Yeshua. It is so, and so it is. Chandra, reach out to me later and let me know how you're doing, Chandra. Reach out to me later. But I know what I know. Receive, believe, and it manifests into a lower heart rate. Relax. Know that it's done. Believe it's done. Feel that it's done. See that it's done. It is so. And so it is. Shalom, shalom, peace, wholeness, and prosperity. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Have a great day. Love you dearly. It is